Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Brain.
And I'm Anna. We're so glad you're here with us today. If you're trying to speak English more fluently and confidently, this episode is for you.
Absolutely. Today, we're diving into a big idea: don't speak perfect English. Speak real English. Sounds interesting, right?
Yes. So many learners think they have to speak with perfect grammar, perfect pronunciation, and perfect vocabulary before they even open their mouths.
And guess what? That mindset is actually holding them back. If you're always trying to speak like a textbook, you'll miss out on how real people actually talk.
Exactly. Real English is not perfect. Native speakers make mistakes, change sentences in the middle, use weird expressions, and speak fast. And that's okay.
So today, we're going to show you why perfect English isn't the goal real natural English is. We'll talk about how people actually speak in daily life and give you tips to start sounding more natural and fluent.
Plus, we'll give you a chance to practice with us in real time. So stay tuned.
Whether you're learning English for schoolwork or just daily life, this episode will help you stop overthinking and start speaking like a real person.
Let's get started. Why is perfect English not really perfect?
So let's talk about this idea of perfect English. Why is it such a problem?
Because a lot of learners believe that they must speak without any mistakes before they can speak at all. They wait, and in the end, they don't speak anything.
Yes, that's the real danger. The fear of being wrong stops people from actually practicing. But guess what? Native speakers make mistakes all the time.
Exactly. I've had students who spent years studying grammar. They could write a perfect essay. But when I asked them a simple question like, "How was your weekend?" Silence.
I had a student once who told me, "I don't want to speak until I can speak perfectly." And I said, "Then you'll never speak." Because fluency comes from practice, not perfection.
And perfection is a moving target. What's perfect anyway? American English is different from British English. Even within one country, people speak differently.
Totally. And let's not forget, language is a living thing. It changes. New words appear, old rules get relaxed, and different regions say things in different ways.
So if you're trying to speak perfect English, you're chasing something that doesn't even exist. What really matters is this: can people understand you? Can you express your ideas?
Yes. Think about babies. They don't wait until they can speak a perfect sentence. They try, they make mistakes, and they learn by doing.
That's the mindset we need as English learners progress, not perfection.
And the funny thing is, when you stop trying to be perfect, you often speak more fluently. You relax, you take risks, and that's when real learning happens.
So to everyone listening right now, if you're waiting for perfect English, you're waiting too long. Start speaking now. Mistakes are not bad, they're part of the process.
Coming up next, we'll explain what real English actually sounds like and why it's the key to speaking confidently. And so now that we've said, don't chase perfect English, the big question is, what should you aim for instead? And the answer is, real English.
Yes, real English is how native speakers actually talk in real life, not in textbooks or exams. It's natural, relaxed, and full of shortcuts.
Let me give you an example. A textbook might say, I am going to visit my grandmother this evening. But in real life, you'll hear, I'm going to visit my grandma tonight.
Right? Instead of I am going to, and grandma instead of grandmother, and tonight instead of this evening. It's shorter, faster, and more casual.
Exactly. Real English is full of these kinds of shortcuts. Contractions like I'm, we're, they've, and relaxed pronunciation like gonna, wanna, lemmy, gotta.
And don't forget, real English also includes things like fillers, pauses, and unfinished sentences. Like I was kind of thinking maybe we could, I don't know, grab coffee or something?
Haha, yes. If you said that in an English exam, your teacher would probably scream. But if you said that in real life, it would sound totally normal.
Another important thing, real English is often emotional and expressive. People use their tone of voice a lot. No way, you've got to be kidding me. Seriously? That's insane.
And you don't learn those things from grammar books. You learn them by listening to real conversations, watching movies, shows, YouTube, or podcasts like this one.
So just to be clear, real English doesn't mean bad English. It's not about making mistakes on purpose. It's about natural flow, real phrases, and everyday usage.
Right. It's the difference between saying, "May I use the lavatory?" and "Can I use the bathroom?" One is correct, but the other one is real.
And real is what helps you connect. Real is what helps you make friends travel work and live in English.
So if you want to speak fluently, don't memorize perfect sentences. Listen to how people actually talk. Copy it. Practice it. Speak it.
In the next part, we'll talk about why using real English helps you speak faster, better, and more confidently. Stay with us.
All right, so we've talked about what real English is, but why does it help you speak faster and more naturally?
Great question. The simple answer is real English is the way people actually communicate. So when you focus on it, your brain gets used to the rhythm, the patterns, the tone, and your speaking becomes automatic.
Exactly. Think about it when you're always thinking about grammar rules while speaking. Your brain is working too hard. That slows you down.
But when you use real English, short, simple, natural phrases, you're not building every sentence from scratch. You're using chunks of language.
Yes. Let's take a few examples. Instead of thinking, "I do not know," a native speaker will just say, "I don't know." "I do not know," thinking mode. "I don't know," speaking mode.
Real English helps you move from thinking mode to speaking mode, and that's where fluency happens.
Also, real English has a kind of music to it. The rhythm, the linking sounds, the stress. When you copy that, your speech becomes smoother and easier to understand.
And here's another thing. When you use real English, you're not trying to be perfect, so you feel less pressure, and that helps you speak with more confidence.
Right. Think about how relaxed conversations are between friends. People interrupt, laugh, pause, change topics. It's not perfect, but it's real. And that's what learners need to practice.
I had a student once who was stuck for months, but then he started watching sitcoms and copying the way characters spoke. After 2 weeks, boom, he was speaking much more fluently.
Because he was learning patterns, pronunciation, and phrases, not just rules.
So if you want to speak faster and more naturally, stop memorizing long formal sentences. Start learning real usable English. It's faster, simpler, and way more fun.
Up next, we're going to share the most common features of real English that you can start using today. Let's go! All right. Now, let's get into the practical part. What are the most common real English features that learners should start using right now?
Yes, these are the things that make your English sound natural and fluent even if your grammar isn't perfect. Let's break them down one by one.
The first one, contractions. Native speakers almost always use them. I am becomes I'm, you are becomes, your, they will becomes, they'll.
It's not just shorter, it sounds more natural. Saying I am going to the store sounds stiff, but I'm going to the store is how people actually speak. Next up, connected speech. This means that words blend together in fast, natural speech. What are you doing? Becomes what you doing. Did you eat? Becomes did you eat.
Yes, it's tricky at first, but once you hear it enough, you'll start to expect it. And your own speech will become smoother too. Here's something people don't talk about enough: fillers and pauses. Native speakers use them all the time.
These little words give you time to think. They're not bad. In fact, they make you sound more human. Just don't overuse them. Next, learn phrases and idioms that people actually say in daily life. No worries instead of, it's okay, I'm all set, instead of, I'm ready, it's up to you, instead of, you decide.
These are the kinds of expressions you hear in movies and real conversations, not in grammar books. Real English is full of reduced forms, like want to becomes, wanna going to becomes, gonna have to becomes, hafta.
And while these might sound wrong in school, they're totally normal in spoken English. Here's a big one you don't need to speak in full, perfect sentences all the time. Native speakers often break rules. Coming instead of, are you coming? Can't believe it instead of, I can't believe it.
And sometimes we start a sentence and then stop or change direction. I was gonna say, actually, never mind. Lastly, how you say something matters. Real English is full of emotion, tone, sarcasm, excitement, and surprise.
Right. You could say that's great in a boring way, or you could say that's great with energy. The meaning changes completely.
So those are 7 common features of real English that you should listen for and start using in your daily practice.
You don't have to learn all of them at once. Pick 1 or 2 and start adding them into your speech. Over time, you'll sound more fluent without even thinking about it.
Coming up next, we're going to give you some powerful practice tips to help you master real English faster. Let's go!
All right, brain. Before we jump into practice tips, let's talk about a big mistake that so many English learners make.
Yes, and it's a huge one, overthinking every sentence before you speak.
Totally. This happens when someone is trying so hard to speak correct English that they end up saying nothing at all.
Right. They pause too long. They get stuck in their head. They think, wait, is that the right tense? Should I use a or the? What if I say it wrong?
And by the time they're ready to talk, the conversation has already moved on.
Here's the thing, native speakers make mistakes all the time. They start sentences and don't finish. They mix up tenses. They use like 5 times in one sentence.
But they keep going. That's the key. They don't stop, they just flow.
Exactly. Real fluency is not about speaking perfectly. It's about speaking comfortably and confidently, even if you make little mistakes.
So here's our advice. Stop trying to say the perfect sentence. Start trying to say something real even if it's not perfect.
Fluency is a skill, not a test. The more you speak, the better it gets. Not the more you think, the better it gets.
Coming up next, we'll give you some smart, practical ways to practice real English and become fluent faster. Let's go.
Okay, let's talk about something super important, how to practice real English in your daily life.
Yes, because knowing what real English is isn't enough. You have to actually use it every day, even in small ways. One of the best ways to practice is something called shadowing. You listen to a short clip of native speech and then repeat it exactly like the speaker.
Copy their words, but also copy their tone, their speed, and their emotion. You're not just saying the words, you're mimicking the vibe.
Start with just 10-15 seconds at a time. Pause, repeat, and record yourself. It really helps.
Another powerful tip, watch real content. That means shows, movies, YouTube vlogs, interviews, anything where people speak naturally.
Not just English lessons. You want to hear the rhythm and messiness of real English. You'll notice contractions, expressions, even slang.
Turn on subtitles if you need to. Then watch again with subtitles off. Repeat what you hear out loud, even if you don't catch every word.
Here's a fun one. Use voice notes to talk to yourself or your friends in English. Describe your day. Tell a story. Just speak without pressure.
And don't delete it. Listen back later to hear your progress or your mistakes. That self-feedback is gold. Even if you're alone, you can still practice. Just think in English. While cooking or walking, Describe what you see in English.
You don't need anyone around. You can say, "Okay, I'm boiling water now, I'll chop the onions." It trains your brain to switch into English mode. And finally, speak with real people when you can. Even small conversations help.
It could be a language exchange partner, a teacher, or a friend who's also learning. The key is get comfortable using real English in real time.
Even 5 minutes a day makes a big difference if you're speaking actively.
So, to recap, shadowing real content, voice notes thinking in English, and small real conversations. Do 1 or 2 of these every day, and your English will grow fast.
Next up, we'll share some examples of how real English sounds in everyday situations and how you can practice them. Let's go!
All right, now it's time for a quick mini practice session. Let's show you what real English sounds like in an everyday situation.
Okay, let's do a short natural conversation, nothing scripted, just how we'd actually talk. Ready?
Ready? Let's imagine we're co-workers chatting on a Monday morning.
Hey, morning! How was your weekend?
Pretty chill. Just stayed home, watched Netflix. You?
Same here. I was gonna go out, but the weather was awful.
Yeah, I heard it poured on Saturday. Total washout.
Yep, I ended up binge-watching that cooking show, the one with the British guy.
Oh, Kitchen Wars? I love that one. He's hilarious.
Right? I'm hooked. Anyway, coffee?
Always. Let's go.
Did you notice what we just did? We used contractions, connected speech, informal expressions, like gonna ended up binge-watching, and even slang like total washout.
Exactly. That's real English. That's how people actually talk casually, comfortably, and with flow.
Now you can rewind that part, repeat it out loud, or even create your own version with different topics.
Coming up next, we're wrapping up with some powerful final thoughts to keep you motivated on your fluency journey.
So, if there's one thing we want you to remember from today's episode, it's this.
Fluency is more important than perfection. You don't need perfect grammar or perfect vocabulary to speak confidently.
You just need to be real, natural, relaxed, and clear. That's how people connect with you.
So stop stressing about every little word. Focus on speaking often, listening more, and using real English in real situations.
You've got this. Speak up, mess up, laugh it off, and keep going.
Thanks for joining us today. And remember, before we go, here's a quick bonus tip for you, something that can speed up your progress even more.
And that is, don't be afraid to make mistakes aloud. The more you speak, the more comfortable you become with errors. Mistakes are just part of the journey.
Exactly. Each mistake is a step closer to fluency. So, if you catch yourself overthinking, remind yourself it's okay to mess up.
And here's a little challenge for you. Try using one new real English feature we talked about today in your next conversation. Maybe a contraction or a filler or an idiom.
Let us know in the comments how it goes. We love hearing your stories and progress.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a lesson.
And share this podcast with a friend who's also learning English, because real English is the way to go.
Thanks for being here with us. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember,
Don't speak perfect English, speak real English.